Hello everyone, welcome to this short but practical and useful tutorial. If you are interested in drawing anime faces but struggle with it, maybe you can't get it right, the proportions seems off, or something just feels wrong, make sure to watch this video all the way through. This tutorial is simple, yet it can help you a lot. This is actually a small part of a larger course where I teach how to draw anime faces along with different facial expressions and emotions. If you find this helpful, you can check out the full course for free through the link I've added in the description. Let's get started. The base of anime faces is the same as regular faces, just with a few modifications. Once you learn those changes, drawing them becomes easy. Things to pay attention to when designing an anime face is one is the head itself, and then the eyebrows, eyes, nose, and mouth. If you can learn just these few parts, you are all set. Alright, let's get started with the lesson. Take a look at these two shapes and pay attention to the colors. The shape on the right is a model of a normal, natural head. The one on the left is the shape of an anime style head. Notice the differences. The circle in both is exactly the same. The size is equal. The changes happen in the lower part, especially down here. Look closely at the blue areas to see what's changed. And the chin. Basically, it's compressed and made smaller from three sides. You see what I mean? So, if you take a head like the one on the right and simply pull the chin inward, that's pretty much it. Look at these lines. On the left shape, the anime one, the lines are steeper. Once I remove this construction shape, you will see how the final shape looks. It's squeezed from three sides. The chin is moved upward and it becomes smaller too. It just becomes smaller and tighter. That's it. And the neck. The neck is the same. It gets narrowed from both sides and the neck ends up look like this. If you just understand this concept, you can start drawing anime faces. So now, if we want to draw this shape, how do we do it? Here's what I do. First, I draw a circle. Then I try to draw a line down the middle, not going too far down, and add a small circle at the bottom. Just like you see here. And this part becomes the neck. This basic shape appears and I clean up the inside. That gives us this. When we take this and make some edits, it becomes the final anime style head. This is the kind of shape you are aiming for. And once we add the hair, which I have already prepared, this is the result. Now we need to move on the facial details, which will be the next lesson. In anime design, there are all sorts of ways to draw the nose. As you can see in the image, noses can be drawn in many different styles. There are various types of lines used. One artist might draw it like this, a simple line. Another might add the nose line along with the nostrils. Some focus more on emphasizing the shadow of the nose. Others highlight just the nostrils. And one very popular style is this one, a triangle. This is the nose style we will be using here. To draw this type of nose, there is an important point you need to pay attention to. You need to consider the center line of the face. Then place the nose on either side of the center line, either on this side or this side. You shouldn't draw it right in the middle. The shape of the nose, whether it looks like this or like this, should not be placed directly on the center line. It should go slightly to the left or right of it. So, you position it like this, very close to the center line, but not on it. See that? It's located roughly around the ear line. It can shift slightly up or down. That's not too important. What is important is its placement relative to the center line. And now the mouth. What you're seeing here is a natural, normal lip shape. But in anime, something different happens. The upper lip is often removed, and the sides are also simplified or omitted. In some cases, the lower line remains, which represents the lower lip. But in cases like ours, this line is also removed. And instead of making this line big, they make it smaller. So in anime, the lips and mouth become smaller and more compact, especially for female characters and children. This is the kind of mouth you see here, small and simple, which represents a small mouth and lips. Next, let's talk about drawing eyebrows. There are many different types of eyebrows, but anime eyebrows are usually as simple as what you see here. It's just one line, or sometimes two lines like this. There's nothing very complicated about them, and generally, simple eyebrows like this are used. This style represents a natural, ordinary expression. Now, let's move on to the eyes. Here is a normal, natural eye. This is how a human eye looks when drawn realistically. But what do they do in anime? In anime, you don't see this part, you don't see this part either, and this line is shortened. So, let's see what they actually do in anime. If I erase this part, and I also erase this area here, then shorten this line as well, and pull this section upward to create some elongation. And stretch the iris upward too. You see, our eye starts to look like an animal eye. This eye becomes this eye. Do you understand the process? So pay attention. We remove these two sides, lift the eyelid and eyelashes upward, and create a stretch, which results in something like this. Add a simple eyebrow. A nose like this. And lips like this, just like that. And this becomes our final drawing, with the eyes added. Now I'd like to share some important tips that will help you draw faces more accurately and with ease. These tips are specifically about correctly placing facial features. Even if you draw each part of the face really well, if you don't know the right proportions, the overall face looks off because the features aren't placed properly. So here are a few simple and very useful guidelines. First, the mouth. Although it's mostly tied to different expressions and shapes, try to keep roughly equal space above and below the mouth. The corners of the mouth usually line up with the jaw's breakpoints, so use those as a reference. The corners of the eyes should also line up with those points. This has a big impact on whether the face looks wide or narrow. Try placing the corners of the eyes just slightly outside those points. In my opinion, it looks better that way. Now back to the center line of the face. As I mentioned before, the nose should be placed beside the center line, not directly on it. Next, let's look at facial proportions. We divide the head vertically into 3 equal parts. And the eyes should be placed right on this line. It's important. So 1, 2, 3. Place the eyes here in the second section. That's important. If you want your character to look more mature or adult, you can either place the eyes a bit higher or make the chin longer, adding more space between the eyes and chin. And now a very important point: if you want your face to look balanced and not strange, there should be the width of one eye between the 2 eyes. So imagine placing one eye between the left and the right eye. And to clarify, we are talking about the wide part of the eye here, not the lashes. Lashes can be long or stylized depending on the character, but that's not what affects proportion. So focus on the white space and use that to measure the distance between the eyes. If you follow these tips, your face will come out well proportioned and you will end up with a beautiful anime character. In the next step, we will move on to drawing different facial expressions where the eyes, eyebrows, and mouth change. And if you learn those two, which are actually quite simple, you will be well on your way to mastering anime face drawing. And that was my approach to drawing anime faces. If you're interested in learning more about drawing anime characters, feel free to join my free course on Udemy using the link in the description below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the course comment section. Thanks so much for watching this far. I really hope this tutorial helped you. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them here. Wishing you the best of luck in drawing your favorite anime characters. See you next time.